Thank you all for coming in.
Yeah, Wayne, I'm in. Are you communicating? I can't hear anything.
Oh, really? I was muted. I have been. I was saying thank you all for your cooperation. I really appreciate, and we get better at this. Okay, it's an opportunity for us to evolve. So tomorrow will just be better than what we are right now today. Okay, so if you're in, I'd like to share this materials with you. There are two of them, and I hope you can see them in the chat right now. All right, could you see them in the chat?
No.
Okay, I've just sent to. Oh, so where did they go?
To the old chat.
Okay, let me do that again. And I'll also be sharing the screen just now. So you're welcome once again. Really, really welcome. And yeah, this is not a secret. Actually, this is something we all know in a way or another. We just, oftentimes, we just don't put it to practice. What we're going to be learning here today, okay? And what we'll be learning here today isn't something that I magically, accidentally, or somehow, no, okay? I actually studied into it. I grew into it. Yeah, part intuition, part contributions from my friends, and part contributions from my teachers. But I'm grateful that I have it, and also I could share it with everyone. Okay, so we are going to appreciate the opportunity for that in putting it to practice in this few moments we would have together. Okay, Eric, you can join. You can join on that link. Thank you. So can we all see my screen? Please indicate if you could see my screen so that we could carry on from there. Okay, yes, thank you. We can see your screen. Yeah, excellent. Thank you both. So this is Get Your Life Back. And it's about fulfilling the promises that you've made to yourself. So from whom are you getting your life back? From yourself. I could only get my life back from myself, actually. No one else is in charge of my life but myself. And the only reason why we don't have our life is because we don't know what we want out of it. So what we are going to be learning this afternoon is more about giving ourselves clarity. And for the next 1 hour, between now and 3:30, that is my time. Whatever your time is, that would be an hour from now. So between now and then, we are going to be learning how to get our life back, okay? Then after that, we are going to see what we could do based on what we have learned, what we could practically do based on what we've learned. So there's a simple principle that we want to start with, that we want to use, and it's the foundation for everything we want to do right now. It is this principle that makes what we are doing valid. Okay? It is this principle that makes all of the exercise we're doing here valid and relevant. The principle is that consciousness is the one and only reality. I learned that from Neville Goddard, and I'm going to use a lot of Neville Goddard's quotes in this workbook. So the principle is that consciousness is the one and only reality. Now, so let us have an insight into what that means. Because when we can relate it to something from our experiences, it makes a lot more sense to us, right? So this is an idea of consciousness. Imagine where you're living some 15 years ago. Okay, I believe all of us here are older than 15 years. That's why I'm using that. So at least if you're older than 20, then you could tell where you lived 15 years ago. Whether it is the same place you are still living right now, or you've moved into a different area or region, this is something you would find interesting. Where you lived 15 years ago and where you're living right now are different. True or true? Good. So they're different. They're not the same place. Even if it is the same location, the same place, the same house, the environment is not the same again. Things have changed. There have been transformations. Now, what makes the significant difference between what was the reality for you 15 years ago and what is the reality for you in where you're living now? It is what you're conscious of. You're conscious of changes that are happening between then and now. And that is what makes the reality for you. That's what makes changes to have really occurred, because you're conscious of things that are changing. If you do not know that things are changing, because consciousness means knowing. So if you do not know that things are changing, you cannot tell that there's been a change. If you do not know that this is there and maybe there's this road through this front and now it's through the back or something, you couldn't tell that you've had a change in life between then and now. So what has changed has been consciousness, because realize this, that wherever you're living right now, maybe it's different from where you lived 15 years ago. It's not as if that place you're living now came from heaven 15 years later. It's not as if someone dropped it or a magical fairy godmother came and used this magic wand and phew, it's just appeared there. No, it came by resources and structures that are already here on this planet. And that is why we have this example we have in this place. If you're conscious of something, that thing begins to happen in its own ways. You could imagine humanity never reached the moon until mid-20th century, when President Kennedy was first conscious of the idea, and asked William von Braun. Now, consider the technology that was available then. It's not 1% as sophisticated as the technology we have now. Look at the phone you use now. They don't have phones like this then, but they could reach the moon then. And if you happen to see how they did it with all of the engine they put together and you're an engineer, you would laugh at it. You'd sort of say, what kind of joke are these guys making? But they did it then because they were conscious of the idea, even though the resources they're using is not as sophisticated as the resources we have now. And even though what we are conscious of now is so dramatically different from what we're conscious of then. That's why I ask you to just think on and reflect on what you're conscious of now relative to what you were conscious of in the last 15 years, wherever you're living. You're conscious of a place. Now, someone else is conscious of that place or that particular area, and you're conscious of another place now. And that's what has changed your reality. It's still housing, it's still home, but now different kind of reality. And they feel different because of consciousness. So consciousness is the one and only reality. It is the one that is not changing, but that when it changes what it is beholding, the thing that is reality changes. Now, we are going to design the manner of life that will be significant for us from within ourselves, okay? And there are two major areas of this design that we want to have. The first area is identity, and the second area is structure. So we'll be looking at what the two areas are. Now, realize this is design, and you're going to be doing it for yourself. I'm not going to be doing any design for you. I'll only give us some ideas, some steps that could make the job easier for us, that could make the task easier for our consciousness. It's possible you have a way that is even easier than whatever I'm presenting. These are all techniques. The important thing is that consciousness is the one creating reality. Now, the steps we are putting in, they are all steps to help us find this easy to do, to help us find it easy to operate with that principle that consciousness is the one and only reality. So, two areas that will be designing of our life, identity and structure. Now, let us understand what those two mean very soon. Or at least we are going to be dealing with one area today, and we'll deal with the second area tomorrow. But if we change what we are conscious of, what we experience is going to change. Do we understand that? That is really important for us to understand. I mean, just understand that, okay, we could use career, for instance, as another example. So we could use career, for instance, as another example. 15 years ago, you had a career path, you had a way of living, a way of doing things. Even 5 years ago, you had a way of looking at things, a way of operating with your finances, a way of operating with your career. You had your aspirations and your goals, and probably right now they've changed. They have become things entirely different. Perhaps because of changes that you find occurring in the economy and so on and so forth. But that is why we want to get our life back. Because if we change our life because of changes that are happening outside of us, then we realize that means we are controlled from the world outside of ourselves, right? That means we're not in control of our own lives. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't feel okay that things around me are controlling my life. And I'm not even in control of them. Okay, so I prefer to be in control of my life and be in control of my circumstances. I don't bother about controlling anything else in the world, but to be in control of my life, because I call it my life. It's mine, it's my possession, it's my property, or at least I'm in care of it. And for the time that I'm in care of it, I want to feel that I've done a good job. So I don't try to control the economy. I don't try to control the weather. I don't try to control anything else in the world. But can I control my life and make it as excellent as I want? That's the kind of thought process we want to be having. So can I be in charge of what is happening to me or what is happening for me? Better put. If I could be in charge of that, let me get in control of that. And that is what I'm proposing you also begin to think, that you don't have to try to change the whole world, but could you focus your own life and the way you want it to go? So that 5 years from now, you don't have just saying some random changes happen and here and there and you're pulled here and there. But 5 years from now, you could say, oh, this is the path that I created for myself and I'm in it and I've achieved successfully in it. Okay? So if we are following, we will be going into the first of the two areas that I said, identity and structure. So identity is like the foundation. And there are 4 basic questions that I want to ask ourselves under identity. Number 1, who am I? Number 2, what purpose do I express? Number 3, what values do I have? And number 4, what are my strengths? So before we go into the first, I'd like to encourage you to allow yourself to listen to as much as possible and get as much as possible out of this. I will upload this online on YouTube so that after our relationship here. You could still access it if you want to go over it again and again. But I will encourage you that even right now, listen. And while it is very, very easy to listen from your perception of the world, I'd ask you to be more open-minded as you're listening. That is very important because that's how you could get the best of this and grow. So if you like, you may add any other area that you consider important to these 4 areas, right? Use your imagination. That's why I said this is not like the ultimate secret. It is a series of steps to help us focus our consciousness. So the first question is, who am I? Now, we could forget everything about ourselves, but we cannot forget one thing. And that is what I want to use as the foundation for everything that we do in life. I mean, because if everything else could be taken away from us, but just one thing, then you would agree with me that that one thing is what we want to use as the security for everything else, right? So imagine you could have you have a series of assets. Okay, let's say it this way: you have a number of clothes in your closet. All of the clothes you have could be used by your siblings and your parents because it's just perfect size for them. It suits all of them. All of the clothes you have, except for one. There's just one clothes you have in your closet out of the tens or hundreds that you have, only one that suits you alone. And no other person can use it or even use it because it just can't fit for them. Which of the clothes would you treasure the most? That one. It's natural. It's just that one that you know, no matter what happens, no matter if everyone in the world comes into your closet and they take all the other clothes, you'll still be left with this. It is like your security. Okay? So that's how I want to approach this. Who am I? This question is fundamental. And the answer that you even give to it is much more fundamental than the question. Because that answer is your security. Yeah, it's like that one cloth that no one can take from you. So, what is the answer you have to this question? Now, some people would say, I'm a footballer, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a father, I'm a this and that, and so on and so forth. And you see, they will talk about who they are in terms of their career, occupation, in terms of their family relationship or position, or in terms of their social standing, and so on and so forth. But then, what we started with is that if you take all of these things into 15 years from now, or maybe 50 years from now, they may not hold true again. They may change. They are actually going to change because we'll be conscious of new things. It's a given. If you were a kid and you used to say, I'm a boy, some 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, now you don't say I'm a boy again. You say I'm a man. You say I'm a woman if you used to say I'm a girl. It's changed. So if you want to use your age or gender to form the basis of who you are and then build a life structure on that, it could be really disastrous, right? Because we're talking about the foundation here. Who are you? If you say you're a footballer, what happens in the day when you couldn't play football again? Or a day when the whole world isn't interested in football again? Maybe those won't happen. What about a day when after you've played football, you just have a new interest, something else just inspires you or catches your attention better than football ever does, and you become an avid practitioner of that. Maybe you find joy now in saving people's lives, and then you become a doctor. What happens when that? Would everything you built on being a footballer, would it crumble and crash, or would it be standing? That question depends on what you started building your life on in the first place. That is why this question is really, really important. Who are you? Who am I? And what is that one cloth? One piece of cloth that no matter what happens in life, you could always have in your closet. It is simply this: I am. That's who I am. I know that I am. That's who I am. No matter what happens, I could forget everything else about myself but I wouldn't forget that I am. Because the idea of forgetting, in fact, first means I know that I am, then I now become conscious that I have forgotten something. And the idea of trying to remember means I know that I am, then I'm starting to remember something. So you see, I know that I am. I'm conscious of being. In other words, I realize I'm consciousness. That is why consciousness is the one and only reality. So if you are a doctor today, you could become a footballer tomorrow. I could say I'm a doctor today, then I'm a footballer tomorrow, then I'm a nurse 2 days after, and then I'm an economist 3 days after, and probably a poet 4 days after. I mean, okay, maybe this happened, maybe these things change 4 years or 40 years, but whatever changes might occur in my life, anytime that I want to talk about myself, I would always use these two words. I am. There's no way I wouldn't use them. Oh, good. Yeah, wife, daughter, sister. Thank you very much, Aishu. So we have this, for instance, I'm wife, daughter, sister today. But how about 10 years ago? Probably went to wife. And maybe 30, 40 years from now, you might not be a daughter when parents are gone. So these changes are going to happen. But one thing that will not change about all of us is I am. And no one can even take that away from you because you always know you are. So base your whole design on this idea that you are, that you are consciousness, pure consciousness. You're not your personality, you're not character, you're not your body, you're not your mind, you're not your intellectual capacities, you're none of all of those things, not your degrees. You are simply being. And you can be anything you wish, anything you choose. That word is literally true, because you can say, I am a pilot, and no one on earth would say you're not a pilot. I mean, they could maybe argue it, but unless you say I'm not a pilot, no one else could really fight that. No one could stop you from saying that. You can be anything, but first you have to be. Now, if you'd like to prove that, just in the next 24 hours, try not to say I am. Whatever you do, just try not to say I am. If you could do that successfully in the next 24 hours, you're good to go. You now know you have to choose another basis. But if you couldn't, then you probably want to start considering that you really are, and that's all you are. And that word, those two words, I am, if you study the Hebraic religions, or even any religion in the world, they have the ways they put this in their own, I mean, the way it is expressed in different languages. I am has its own expression in Hindu, in Swedish, in various languages around the world, right? So if you consider any language and you look into those words, I am, very, very likely you would find it associated with the name of God. In the Hebraic religions, it is associated with the name of God. That is the only name that God ever declared himself to be, according to Revelation in the Bible. So if you have any other religious text or philosophical text, you could look it up. Look up I am, or in your language, in your culture, tradition, find it. It's so fundamental. Almost all religions and almost all traditions and cultures hold on to this as the name of God. And that is the name that you have. In other words, you are God. Whether you fight with that right now or you accept that, understand this. If you ever are able to lift your hand while you feel like or choose to lift them, then you're in control of your hand. And only one person is in control of everything that happens, God. That's a very simple way to understand it. If you're in control of your hands, you must be God. If you can blink your eyes when you choose to, I mean, of course, they happen themselves, but you can also choose to blink your eyes, then you must be God. If you can decide when you want to sleep, decide when you want to wake up, you're God. And these are things you could do. These are things people are doing. Maybe you may not have control on some of them right now, but you could actually train yourself to do some of them. And there are some of them that you know you can literally do anytime, any day. This is important, and we take so much time on this so that you could really get it. But I'm saying, don't take my words for it. Go on to test it for the next 24 hours, even 48 hours, or even 72 hours. If you want to give it yourself a long try for the next 1 year, try not to say, I am. Or if you couldn't, then you're calling the name of God. And this is how Neville Goddard put it. It says, you are God. He gave you his name. And the only name he reveals to the whole vast world is, I am. So just like Ayushi points out there, you are creator, you are God. So once you have that as the basis, now it makes sense to form your whole life upon that. You know, you are creating your life. That is what you are. You are creator. So you're creating your life. And you don't even have to try to create any other thing. If you create an excellent life, you know, the way it fits into the whole vast world, it's like you are a part of the entire puzzle. And if you are a perfect fit, then the whole puzzle could make sense. Do we get that? So that way you don't have to try to fix the whole puzzle. You just have to trust that by making yourself a perfect fit where you fit in, the whole puzzle could make sense. So once you understand that you are God and you're simply creating your life, you're not trying to create the whole life of every other person on earth, but you create your own life, then the life of every other person around you could make sense relative to you. So if you have that basis, let's go back to that one unique cloth, 100 clothes in your closet example, the analogy. So imagine again, you are in your wardrobe. You have this closet and there are 100 clothes. There's just one that is unique to you. Every other cloth you have fits everyone else. What would you like to do? If you'd like to have clothes that are really customized for you and you alone, the best thing for you to do is to give every other cloth that you have to people that it fits. And then begin to make designers that fit that one model that is uniquely yours. Does that make sense? So you give out every other cloth that you've got in your closet to people that it fits. If this one fits dad, let dad take it. If this one fits mom, let mom take it. If this one fits my brother, let my brother take it. If this one fits my sister, let my sister take it. Okay, after I have got rid of everything, I'm left with just I am. That is the only cloth that fits me. That's the only cloth that no one can take away from me. So I begin to fashion my life from that. I begin to form new clothes, to design new clothes based on the only one that is unique to me. That means I have two things. Number one is I have room for all the new designs that I want to have because I've already given all of the ones that I share with other people, I've given it out. So whatever I'm designing is unique to myself. That is one. Then second is because I'm designing based on what is unique to myself. Oh, first is I have room because I've given everything out. I have room to contain out as many designs as I want to have. Second is I'm basing those designs upon the one that is unique to myself. So every design that I make, I know it's unique to me. Someone may have something similar to it, but it could never ever be like it. It's that simple. So once you know who you are, that you are God, you're creator, then you can decide where you want to start creating with your life in the different phases of your life that matter to you. For instance, are you a spouse? Are you a parent, a grandparent? Are you a teacher, a banker, a marketer? Are you a millionaire, a billionaire, or a trillionaire? Are you a contributor? Are you a leader? Are you a friend? Are you a sibling? Are you a student? Who are you in all areas of your life that matter to you? Or all of the areas of life that will matter to you, even if it will matter to you only in 20 years from now or 100 years from now. For instance, I'm not a grandparent yet, but I will be a grandparent. So I am a grandparent now. I'm designing how I'd like to be a grandparent when I become a grandparent. Because the time when it happens isn't when it happens. The time when it happens is when I design it. I have a blueprint. Is that making sense? So I'm designing all of these areas of my life based on that unique version of me. I'm a grandparent, I'm a parent, I'm a millionaire. That means you don't have to be a millionaire now, but you're designing being a millionaire in the next maybe 2, 3, 5 years. Now you're designing the kind of millionaire you want to be. You don't have to be a teacher now, but you'd like to be a teacher in the next 2 years. You could design it. You might actually be a spouse now, but what kind of spouse would you like to be? Then you could design that. But you're designing that not of course, it is something you expect in the next 2, 3, 5 years, or maybe in the next 2 months, but you're designing it as if you have created it, because that's what you're doing. You are creating it. You're God, you're creator, the only creator of your life. Did you know? Okay, consider this. If anyone ever tried to take authority over your life, you feel frustrated, and you feel ridiculed. You feel like that person doesn't know their limits or their bounds. You so much want to be in control of your life. That's why you're a creator. So begin to do it. Now, after you've settled that, you've picked all the areas of life that matter to you, the second thing you want to do is, what purpose do you want to express? What would be your purpose in life? Now, your ultimate purpose in life, because you are God, that's the fundamental thing about you. So your ultimate purpose is just key into that. Your ultimate purpose is to unite with God, to become as God. And this is something that even religions share from time to time. For instance, you would find religions come with the idea that if you live a good, holy life that aligns with the life of God, then you could end up with God in heaven. Many religions come up with that. Many other religions come up with the idea that if you live according to certain ideals, you can attain nirvana, heaven, peace, and so on and so forth, whichever way they put it in your own religion. But this is not religious at all. But the idea is this: even religions recognize this. It's your ultimate purpose. So, if you are God, what would be your ultimate purpose? Your ultimate purpose would be to realize that you are God, to awaken as God, to be reunited with your essence, your spirits, your origin, God. Okay? While that ultimate purpose is happening or coming to being, what are the things you'll be doing in the process? That is the purpose we are talking about here. Okay? Your God means your creator. So while your ability to create is unfolding, what are the things you'll be doing in the process? What are the things I'll be doing in the process? So what will you be doing right now? Even after the purpose has unfolded, what will you still like to be doing? That's something we're talking about when we say purpose. Now, many people are looking for purpose, like I have to find purpose, but you already are living on purpose. You want to do it, you want to discover it, you want to know what your purpose has been. I mean, this purpose we're talking about. So we're not concerned about what you will have done. It's not like something that is momentary. Purpose is something that you do on a daily basis, something that you'll be doing every day in any area of your life. For instance, if you sleep, you might actually be doing it in your dreams. And if you wake up, you might just start into it. For me, I love to teach. That's why I'm here. I love teaching. I love sharing whatever I've understood and I have found to be practical and working. And if I could make it better understood, I feel satisfied. I feel happy. I mean, I could literally forget that I haven't eaten and I haven't done this and that if I'm teaching. I could forget all about myself. That is why I love. But someone else might actually love something else. That's it. Someone else might love maybe being a business person. Now, I express that purpose of teaching, even if I'm a business person, but someone else may actually love building business as their purpose. Wherever they are, if they could think of ways to build business, they do it. If they could, they could just bring one or two and then they build business and anything. So someone else might actually love maybe singing. That might be their life purpose. Singing and then inspiring people from there. That might be their life purpose. But what is your life purpose as you? Now, your life purpose doesn't mean that is the only thing you do. It doesn't even mean that that is what you solely do. Your life purpose only means that whatever you are doing, wherever you find yourself, that is the one thing that you find yourself doing in it. Do we understand that? Very, very important. Because a lot of people think purpose is the same as passion. Purpose isn't the same as passion. Passion is something that you love doing. Purpose is something that you do and then you love it. Passion could be just for yourself. No one else sees it. But purpose is something that when you do it, it is contributing to other people. And that is very important. And also, a lot of people give up whatever they like, whatever they are doing or whatever they like doing, just to go and find purpose. But that isn't how purpose really operates. If you find your purpose, if you discover your purpose, you can do it nearly anywhere that you are. It has to be something natural to you. It's just a part of you. You do it effortlessly. That is purpose. Okay? So what do you enjoy? This is a way to, maybe a way to find out. What do you enjoy doing the most that even total strangers can remember you for it? And you forget all about yourself whenever you're doing it. I mean, you meet a person just one time and they will say, ever since I met you, I always remember this about you. That's your purpose because it's so natural to you. You don't even know you're doing it. Then you can begin building it and begin focusing on doing it wherever you find yourself. So another way to find out or to discover your purpose is to ask yourself this question. It's called the Tomb test. So you ask yourself, what if I died after I have lived a fulfilled life? Very, very important to imagine you've lived a fulfilled life. What if I die after I've lived a fulfilled life? The life that pleases me, that I'm happy with. And then I happen to see my own funeral. So all of these people are gathered and then they're going to write just one sentence, one statement to capture how I have lived my life. One thing they would say I do all the way that they can all remember me for. Just one thing. That's what they want to write on my tomb. 100 days from now, people will walk to my tomb, my graveyard, they would see it and they'll say, oh, this is him or this is her. What would that one sentence be? What would I like that one sentence to be? If you could really reflect on that, you could find your life purpose that way. For some, purpose could actually be, their purpose could be making friends. Yeah, they know how to make and keep friends and to make their friends feel friendly, to feel like this is the best life ever. So we get this. Now, once you've got once you've got a hold of that, your purpose, then you go to the next. What values do I have? What are my life values? Values are qualities that you want to express in life. They are qualities that make life meaningful for you. You enjoy seeing them. You enjoy having them. If a value is absent, you might hate yourself for doing something because value is absent in that thing. In other words, value is that thing you are hunting for anytime you're doing something. Take a minute to look at this. Did you know it is never about any material object you have? It's about the feeling that object gives to you. If you have money, it's not about the money. It's about the feeling, maybe the feeling of security that the money gives to you. So security could be a value, one of the values you have. If you are traveling around the world, it is not about the traveling itself. It could be the sense of meeting new people and new cultures or expanding your horizons that traveling gives to you. It's probably not about the airplane itself. It's about the idea of finding yourself doing things that are unimaginable. Finding yourself doing things that you ordinarily normally couldn't do if you were just walking on the earth or just walking on the ground. So I mean, when you ask yourself, why do you like this? Why are you going for that? Why do you want this? Just take a minute to slow down and ask yourself, why do I want, for instance, to be a millionaire? Now, you'll find a value there. The reason why you want it is your value. It's something you value for security, for family, maybe for recognition, for fame. It could be anything. It could even be for just the money. Yeah, that could be value. You could really value money. You could really value traveling. But if you value money, then you want something else so you could get the money, so you could experience money. If you value traveling, then there's something else you're looking for to do so you could experience traveling. So these are values. For instance, a person could value traveling and then they get into a business that allows them to travel all around the world or into a job that takes them traveling from one place to another so that they could keep traveling. So you see, you would ask them, why do you like your job? And they would say, well, because I travel all over the world. And they're right. That's it. So if you don't experience a value in something, it is boring to you immediately. It looks like you're rather going to die than have this thing, no matter how much someone else may like it. What you're looking for in everything you do is value. So begin to consider events that have happened in your life if you want to discover your values. As you remember these events that have shaped you in a way or another, just look at them uncritically and then ask yourself, why did I like that event? Why do I go back into it? Even if it is unpleasant. If it is unpleasant, it could only mean a value is lacking in it. Then you'll be able to know the value that is lacking, and you know you want that value in your life in the future. And if it is pleasant, it could only mean there's a value that is in it. For instance, if you remember your relationship with your mother and you love it so much, then the value could be listening. Maybe your mom listens to you a lot, or it could be caring. Maybe your mom cares for you like our own veins and blood. Maybe that's the value. You could ask yourself and then you find out. Okay. So some values that I already put here are fun, happiness, success, fame, money, creativity, family, romance, spirituality, golfing. For instance, you could really want to be a millionaire so that you could have a golf club. Right. So music, contribution, service, control, learning, personal development, and so on and so forth. So just ask yourself, what are these values that I have? And begin to note them. Some of them you'll discover in the way. When I first sat down to ask myself this question, I think I was able to pick 10 values, maybe 10, 20 values. Right now, I have more than that. I think I have more than 30 values. And after I experienced life in some areas, after my values have pushed me to a certain extent, I still see that, wow, I still value this and I value that. Then I put them into my value box or my value basket, and I continue to expand it so that I could really know what I like, know why I like things, and not just run frantically after anything that comes my way. I don't just go after anything that comes my way. But that happens because I know my values. And could happen for you too when you know your values. So finally, for identity is, what are your strengths? I would like to appreciate my mentor on this because she actually introduced this to me first, Shinakanta, and then she helped me to do an exercise that makes me see it obviously. So I wouldn't say I know a shortcut to getting it, except because I really just used a series of exercises. But after my conversations with other people and then reflecting on how that exercise really resonates with my life, I could say one or two things that you could do to help yourself find out. So strengths are natural activities that you do, and you do them with total ease. Now, they are not your life purpose. Realize this. Your life purpose is one single thing that you love doing every time. Not because you love it, but because it's totally effortless. Strengths are also effortless, but they are not one thing. There are a number of things that you do here and there. And in fact, it is possible you're not doing them because they are showing up as weaknesses for you. So that is a strength. So they are not efforts, so that you do not think a strength is an effort. I like this illustration. Imagine you're 20 years older than your little nephew who is 7 years of age. So we're talking about you being 27 years age and more. 27, 28, 30, 40, 50. So your nephew comes running to you, your 7-year-old nephew. How would you do if your nephew jumps at you? You would carry him, right? Okay. And when you carry him, would you feel you've exhausted your strength? No. You would actually feel all right. You wouldn't feel like you've been burdened with all of the troubles on earth. Or you don't feel like you're carrying all of these weights in the gym. You wouldn't feel like that. You would feel it's effortless. So that is what we're talking about when we're talking about strengths. Things that you do effortlessly. So don't think efforts or hard work when you're thinking strength. Now, strengths are in your personality and your character. For instance, are you a conversationalist? Do you like having conversations with people? Are you a visionary? Do you like seeing things that would happen in the next 10 years when no one sees a way? Maybe people are looking at the wall, but you're seeing a new bridge into a new world. Then you're a visionary. So oftentimes you might see yourself talking and people would be saying you are totally out of sync with this present world we are in right now. Don't worry, it's a strength. You just learn how to manage it. You learn how to use it effectively. Are you a strategic thinker? When people are looking at A, B, C, and they present you with the same data, you've seen Z. You could be that. Or you could be an analytic thinker. When people are looking at A, B, C, D, E, you're still wondering, wow, how did A become B? That is just amazing. You analyze, you're an analytic thinker. Or are you a positivity person? People say from time to time that I have this positivity. They like it a lot. They just, it's just so great and so on and so forth. What they are saying is they are admitting one of my strengths, literally my number 3 strengths in the order that they are arranged. So I am positive. I barely see things negatively. Barely. In fact, if I see it negatively, I'll still tell you this is what is going on. So I think someone once told me, don't ask a person to jump off the cliff because they will. Why? Because I could tell them the best, positive, most amazing things about jumping off a cliff. So, are you someone like that? Do you like meeting new people? Then you may be someone who woos other people. Do you nourish old relationships? Do you like starting new things? Maybe you're an activator. Do you complete old tasks? Do you like achieving results? Do you like tracking results? Maybe you're good at managing. So you could begin to look at these strengths that you have. Are you good with managing the home, with organizing things, with putting things where they are? Maybe you are very good at home management, home economics. That might also show you could be great at building a business. You could be great at managing a business. Maybe you are always the one who gives the orders. That might actually show you have a leadership strength. I mean, there are ways and there are ways these things would have showed up in your life. You begin to reflect on them in your personality and character. And then also check your weaknesses, because your weaknesses could be your strengths in disguise. They are. Because I'm positivity, oftentimes I avoid situations that are negative and conversations that are negative. Eric might have observed, I think Eric has observed that a lot. So I don't, if you're negative, I don't just talk with you. We don't roll. And if you doesn't mean I won't talk with you later on because I'm positive. So I'll still see what is good in talking with you. But if you're negative right now, we won't be having a conversation right now. That's just it. But then, did you know that could be a weakness? Because that could mean maybe I don't take care of situations in my life that require attention just because they're negative. I just ignore them. So if I have so many situations like that repeating themselves in my life, I could really come about as a negative person, or I could be having it as a weakness. So this is why you want to look at your weaknesses, because they could be your superpowers that are yet to be in control or under control. Okay, watch out for your weaknesses. Remember that we're not talking about efforts. We're only talking about activities that you do intellectually, emotionally, socially, financially. You're natural doing them. So once you have got all these 4 areas in, you've completed your areas of identity. Okay, before we begin to take our comments, let me just use the remaining minutes to share this. Could you see the new screen right now?
Yes.
Good. So you'll see the 4 sections. This is how I designed my life card. Something close to this. I put it in a raw paper, though it's not. It's because of you guys that I make it this sexy and romantic. In my own paper, it's A4 paper, right? But it's handwritten. I wrote everything out one after the other, and I folded them. I used my card, my MasterCard to fold them so that after I have folded everything, the whole just front and back, it could fold into a single card. Then I can see just one section of it. But then I put this into different compartments on that card. So there's this, who am I? What purpose do I express? What values do I have? And then what are my strengths on that card? And they're the first 4 things I do. So this is how you design the identity section. Remember, this is very important. It is the foundation. Why? Because if you look at these 4 areas that we have talked about here, and like I said, use your imagination, you can find more areas. There are maybe more areas that are relevant to you already. I don't know. You might want to add, for instance, what are your beliefs? Yeah. Or what are the empowering beliefs that you want to hold on to? You could put that. I just haven't thought of that right now. So, but then, whatever areas you'd like to put in, if you just like to put this 4 in, then I guess this card could be relevant to you. Even if you wouldn't, if you'd like to elaborate it, then you want to design it yourself as well, maybe handwritten, then you begin to fill in, who am I? I like to write first, I am. Then I fill in maybe father, husband, teacher, business builder, networker, and so on and so forth. Then what purpose do I express? I simply put it this way. I am so grateful now that, then I put that purpose there. I like those words. I am so grateful. I learned it from Bob Proctor. You know him, I guess, and I like it a lot. So I like how it makes me feel. I am so grateful now that, then I put my purpose there. Then my values, I just list them. There's something I didn't add about values. They exist in pairs. For instance, you'd notice already that I actually mentioned the pairs. For instance, if you like golfing, you might also value being a millionaire. Why? You would like to be a millionaire so that you could be golfing. And if you're golfing, you want to feel like you're a millionaire. Do we see the pairs? For instance, if you like romance, you might also want to like a wonderful marriage life. Maybe you want to have a wife, a spouse. So for me, for instance, I love my wife, and one of the reasons why I value my wife is because of romance. That is values for me. Okay, so anytime that I feel hungry for romance, whether I want to turn to my wife. Okay, so you might also like studying, for instance. But why do you like studying? Maybe because it expands your understanding. So you like studying for expansion. Those are pairs. So I put my own values in pairs, and then spirituality for this for that for. So you can also do the same thing. And then your strengths. If you would like to be in touch with my mentor, I could connect you with her. But if you could also do it yourself, why not? I really don't have a shortcut, but I do know that if you reflect on the things that happen in your life literally every time, because when I looked at it, maximizer, that's my first strength. I'm a maximizer. And I like to maximize a lot, so much. Many of you would know I write stuffs, and then my writing is usually so long. It's not an error, it's not a mistake. It's because I like to maximize. So I like to maximize everything I want to say. But at the same time, maximization now, I'm putting it under control. So right now, I am writing shorter things. I'm even trying to look at how to put everything I want to say or everything I want to do in seconds, in minutes, so that I don't use 1-2 hours maybe sharing the same ideas. So I'm beginning to learn how to maximize differently. But that's it. I'm a strategic thinker. I'm usually thinking 10 steps ahead, 10 years ahead, maybe 10 lives ahead at times. So, but that is my second strength. I found that out, and then I realized it has been with me all the way. That's how I've been living, really, literally from childhood, or at least from the time that I am aware of it. So you could also find out your strengths, or you could reflect on your life. You'll find it if you reflect on the way you do things. Those are the areas for now. Now, let me just take 2 minutes to show us this so that maybe when we are defining who I am, it could help us. These are some other areas. These are specific areas of our lives that I'll be building the structures in. For me, I have 16 of them in, and you could just see them. We have spirituality, it matters to me, financial, intellectual, business or career, emotional, social or family and friends, health, contributions, love and marriage, character, parenting, education, sex, romantic relationship, and then dying. And yeah, dying is there. Then quality of life and life vision. So these are areas of life that matter to me. Then they go into what I put into my who am I? Father, spouse, and so on and so forth. So there we have it for today. If you'd have any questions, please feel free to ask, or if you'd have any contributions you'd like to make. We have time between now and 4 o'clock to do all that. You can literally unmute yourself. But at this time when we say if you have questions, everyone got muted except Eric. Wow.
Oh, you can hear me. I am in the street. I'm with Anton, and there is another noise. Did you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like that. And the fact that you talk about my house, that is really cool. And that is something that I have to come to 100% acceptance of myself that I have. Because we use that word all the time. We can't erase it. We did a practice, if you remember, to go out one day without saying the word I am. It was like almost impossible to not say. And to realize that you are God, you have the potential within you to create your life as you want it. And it's absolutely true. By using your imagination to create your life as you want it to be, and as you said, focus on you, not focusing on the world. Because once you get your life together, you will be that one piece to the perfect puzzle. You will add your perfection in the puzzle. And we only can start with ourselves. We can't start with nobody else because we gotta fix first. And this is what I'm focused on, to get me organized first before I can think about fixing the whole world. And I can help and serve others, which I absolutely love doing and sharing. And the more I study this material, I share it.
Okay, Eric.
So
you're not very clearly audible for some of us. I think we might change your mic.
Yeah, I think, oh yeah. Hello.
Yeah, good. You're better audible now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, but I won't take any more time. I'll give the opportunity to someone else to speak.
All right, thank you very much. So Eric was saying that that I am is really important for us to accept because that's something that he himself is also learning to accept more and more of it now. And also that the whole changes we want to see in the world start with us. So we want to get down into this and really be aware of who we are and then begin to work things out from there. So I believe that's a summary. Is it, Eric?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. So anyone else would like to come in? You can unmute yourself totally and then just share. Okay. If you don't have any other comments coming in, please, if you're trying to make a comment, you might check if you're muted though, but if you're not and we don't have any other comments coming in, then I hope you get this from the chats, this life card, in case this is something that you would like to use. Then find it to print and between now and tomorrow. But if you find out that you'd like to have more areas in it than this card contains, then you can also do it just like I started with mine. Use your hand to design it and write it. Okay. One thing that is really important here is you're designing your life and you're aware of that. And again, I can't overemphasize how important it is that we start with the foundation of who am I? What purpose do I want to express? What values do I have? And what are my strengths? When we have these foundations, these are things that we still want to be in the next 20 years or 30 years that we look forward to. So we can begin to build a solid life on that. And consciousness is the one and only reality. If we are conscious of what we want in every area of our life specifically, we can always get it. We can always have it. And we can't be stopped from having it. Okay? So if there are no other comments coming in, please get this life card. Let me send it again into the chat. I've sent them again right now so that you could use them. I hope you could get them from the chat so that I could use them. I'll also be sending them on the Facebook group chats. Then tomorrow.
In this chat?
Yes, but in fact, I already sent them on the Facebook group actually.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's on the Facebook, but now we're on Zoom. So if you mean Zoom, I haven't seen it on Zoom.
Yeah, I sent it on Zoom just now. I'm wondering how I've been sending it on Zoom and it's not showing up. Let me try the share button.
You know, this who am I topic, it's I mean, okay, we are the creator. If we get it into our skin and bones and veins and, you know, into our blood that I am God, I am the creator. But it is not static. I am not static. I'm having a little, you know, thoughts about who am I, because things change, I change. Now I see that something come into the messenger group anyway.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
So we change as persons, you know, as you were saying, from a 7-year-old to a teenager. We constantly change. So this who am I also changes. I mean, we are, if we just have it from the start that we are the creator, we are God. I mean, that's probably what we're supposed to be working on only with this who am I.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Okay, I'm listening. I thought you were.
No, that's just a thought that I because I know I have been, you know, I love asking people the same question. Who are you? Who are you? You know, people that come into your life, you know, I have this kind of philosophy that certain people come into my life for a reason. They have a message. They have for me, actually, and I do have a message for them also, in some way, message, lessons, whatever in life. And sometimes it would be like, you know, you have certain people around you for a long time, and I'll just like, Who are you, really? Why? Who are you? What do you want to tell me? Sounds kind of strange, but that's the way I look at my surroundings and the people around me. There are people who actually are there to give me messages of me. And also I'm vice versa, of course, towards them. But who am I? Yeah. I'm done. Now you can reply if you would like to.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica. Now, what you said is exactly accurate. Very, very accurate. Except that I am God. Every other part of me is a passing phase. Okay. It's all changing. I'm a son today, I'm going to be a father tomorrow, and then the time is coming down, I'll be a son, and then the time is coming down, I'll be a father, and all of these things change. So that is why we have this phrase in this particular text. Who are you in all areas of your life that matter to you? Even if that area of life will matter to you, will matter only in 20 years or 100 years from now. All will matter and then terminate in 20 years or 100 years from now. I think I should have added that. So long you envision it, just put it down in this section. Do you get the idea now? So who would you like to be on a more stable basis? Because you could actually be, let's say you could be an orator for just one day. Maybe you have a public speech and then you practice and everything, and then you just give that speech just once in an entire lifetime. Yeah, that could happen. But then there are some other beings, there are some other areas of you that you want to be for maybe 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, and some that will be stable for 10 years, some that will be stable for 20 years. Things are going to change, but not everything changes immediately. Some things change over years. Some things change instantly. Those things that change over years, you envision, if at all the changes are going to happen that are going to happen in my life have already happened. That is why this really takes thinking. And also why I actually intended for us to do the exercise here in the training before, but in the workshop, but I thought, okay, it would be really good for us to take our time to settle down, because that's what I did. I took my time to settle down and design this. So it would be good to take our time to settle down and design it. So long we want to do this. So you ask yourself, if this area of life is going to be relevant to me 20 years to come. For now, I'm building business. But 20 years from now, I won't be building a business. I'll be maybe a patron to businesses. Okay, but I'll have retired 20 years from now. Okay, so what would I be when I've retired 20 years from now? What would be the next thing for me? So that thing that will be the next thing for me that is still 20 years from now, I'll put it in that box. Just as I'll put business builder in the box for what I'm doing right now. Do you get how we get to manage that change now, Veronica?
Yeah, you're talking about different roles that we take in life.
Exactly. So you put all the different roles.
It's yeah, the roles that we play on this stage called life. Yeah.
I love the way you put that word, the roles. I think that's how I mentioned it to Ayeshri as well, right? The roles. These are roles that I'm playing.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, these are roles that we play.
Yeah. So and then
different roles we yeah.
No matter what happens with the roles, what is important is this: always have at the back of your mind that who you are is not the roles you're playing. Who you are is not the action you're, the character you're playing in the story of life. Who you are is eternal. All of these things are passing. You're fitting into them because you like to experience them. I like to experience being a friend, so I'm a friend. I like to experience being a leader, so I'm a leader. If someone likes to experience being a slave, they could go on and be a slave. If they like to experience being a servant, they could go on and be a servant. If they like to experience being...
But then it becomes...
Yeah?
Then it becomes very simple, actually. It just all comes down to love.
Right. Thank you. That's the key word. And actually, what you said right now is one of those things that I am not gonna say. I would rather leave us to discover. Because when you begin to do this, there are treasures you discover in yourself that you would not know they are actually there. But you're like, wow, I have that.
You're off. Can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Well, it's not my phone, right?
Can everyone hear me? Oh. Hello. Oh, if you could hear me, just maybe put it in the chat.